From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day, I am Win Peñano bringing you today's edition of Dateline Malacañang. For top story, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. witnessed the historic signing of the Philippines' first free trade agreement with a Middle Eastern country during his visit to Abu Dhabi. The Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or CEPA, was signed by Trade Secretary Maria Cristina Roque at the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week 2026 Summit with UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan in attendance. The pact aims to reduce tariffs, expand market access for goods and services, and create new opportunities for Filipino professionals and businesses in the UAE. Key sectors include digital trade, MSMEs, tourism, healthcare, and IT BPM. Philippine exports expected to benefit include bananas, pineapples, canned tuna, electronics and machinery, while preliminary studies project a nearly 10% boost in trade with the Gulf nation. The signing underscores a deepening partnership between Manila and Abu Dhabi and complements the Philippines' broader network of free trade agreements worldwide.
Dateline Malacañang.
In our news, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has called for stronger global cooperation and reforms in international financing systems to speed up sustainable development and climate action. Speaking before world leaders and experts at the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, President Marcos said sustainability is now a shared global responsibility that requires collective action from governments, the private sector, and civil society. The president stressed the Philippines' continued vulnerability to climate change and the need for fairer access to development and climate financing. President Marcos reaffirmed the country's commitment to the Sustainable Development Goals and pushed for reforms to make global financial systems more responsive to climate-vulnerable nations.
Dateline Malacañang.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has highlighted the Philippines' commitment to clean energy and nuclear safety during the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week 2026. In his keynote at the Next Leap Global South Infrastructure Dialogue, President Marcos showcased the country's renewable energy reforms, international partnerships, and the signing of the Philippine National Nuclear Energy Safety Act, the nation's first framework for the safe use of nuclear technology. He also cited collaborations with the UAE's Masdar, expected to deliver up to 10 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity through $15 billion in investments, boosting energy security, green jobs, and technology transfer. President Marcos reaffirmed the Philippines' dedication to science-driven development, sustainable technology, and regional cooperation, pledging to promote a people-centered and future-ready ASEAN under his upcoming chairship.
Dateline Malacañang.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has met with top executives of DMAC Digital to discuss planned investments in the Philippines, including the establishment of what could be the country's largest data center in Laguna. The meeting took place in Abu Dhabi, where the president and DMAC Digital founder Hussein Sajwani explored collaboration in digital infrastructure, highlighting the Philippines' potential as a regional hub for data centers, cloud services, and AI technologies. President Marcos assured full government support for the investment, calling it a priority sector for national development. The meeting formed part of the president's two-day working visit to Abu Dhabi, which included his participation in the Abu Dhabi Sustainable Week 2026 Summit and the signing of the Philippines-UAE Trade Agreement.
Dateline Malacañang.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has lauded the Filipino community in the United Arab Emirates or UAE for their contributions to both their host country and the Philippines, calling them a source of pride and honor for the nation. Speaking to around 700 Filipinos at the Intercontinental Hotel in Abu Dhabi, President Marcos highlighted their role in the UAE's development and praised the resilience and dedication of overseas Filipino workers worldwide.
Kayo po ang nagbibigay ng karangalan sa ating bansa pamamagitan ng inyong kontribusyon sa United Arab Emirates. Sa magandang ehemplo na inyong ipinakita sa inyong trabaho, sa inyong mga kapwa Pilipino, sa pamahalaan ng UAE, sa iba't ibang mga lahi na nanirirahan dito, at sa kontribusyon na inyong ibinigay sa ekonomiya sa ating minamahal na Pilipinas.
The President assured OFWs that the government remains committed to protecting their welfare and expanding opportunities through trade, investment, and skills development programs.
Your achievements bring honor to the nation, a nation that is truly and genuinely proud and grateful to all of you.
During his two-day visit, President Marcos also witnessed the signing of the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement and a Defense Cooperation Memorandum with the UAE, strengthening ties in trade, security, and partnership.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang has reminded local government units to ensure they have sufficient funds before issuing hospital guarantee letters. Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Claire Castro made the statement in response to remarks by Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong, who criticized Health Secretary Ted Herbosa for saying the Department of Health or DOH-run hospitals do not rely on guarantee letters, especially for basic accommodation. In a Malacañang press briefing, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said such guarantees should not be charged to the DOH, especially for services already covered under the Zero Balance Billing Program.
So kung mag-i-issue po ang mayor ng Baguio City ng guarantee letters, siguraduhin po nila na may pondo po sila.
That if a guarantee letter is issued, the guarantor, not the DOH, assumes responsibility for payment if the patient cannot settle it.
Kapag kayo po ay umutang at meron kayong guarantor, yung guarantor, kapag hindi nakapagbayad yung umutang, yung guarantor ang hahabulin. So kung sino man po ang guarantor nito, nagbigay ng guarantee letter, ang nais lamang po sabihin ni SecTed, yun po ang magbabayad. Hindi po manggagaling dapat ang pondo na yan sa DOH.
Also stressed that the proposed anti-EPOL provisions under the 2026 General Appropriations Act will govern the use of guarantee letters by politicians, which is yet to be fully implemented.
Una-una po, yung guarantee letter, 2026 pa lang po ito ipapa-implement. So dapat malaman po mismo ni Mayor Magalong yung timeline.
Seeking basic accommodation in DOH hospitals, including Baguio General Hospital, do not need guarantee letters, while LGUs remain free to arrange funding with private hospitals.
Dateline Malacañang.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has ordered government agencies to begin with the process of securing an extradition treaty with Portugal for the possible return of fugitive former Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zaldico. At a Malacañang press briefing on Tuesday, Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla said the President instructed authorities to formally pursue an extradition arrangement even as the Philippines and Portugal have no existing treaty. Go is linked to the multi-billion peso flood control controversy and alleged questionable budget insertions.
Nagbigay ng instructions sa President na formally mag-apply na kami ng extradition treaty sa kanila kahit wala pang formal extradition treaties between the two countries.
He added that the government has also coordinated with Interpol to request Go's repatriation amid reports that he may be in Portugal and possibly holding a Portuguese passport.
Pero through the Interpol, magre-request na kami ng repatriation ni Saldico kung nasa Portugal talaga siya.
Authorities say efforts are underway to locate and return the former lawmaker to face possible charges.
Dateline Malacañang.
Around 10,000 fire safety inspectors of the Bureau of Fire Protection, or BFP, will be investigated over an alleged kickback scheme involving overpriced fire safety equipment. In a palace press briefing, Department of the Interior and Local Government, or DLG Secretary John Vic Remulla said a special task force has been formed and 100% of all fire safety inspectors will be scrutinized. He added that the agency has procured 14,000 body cameras to ensure transparency during inspections.
Lahat ito naka-body camera. So, upon inspection, sasabihin niya kung ano nakikita nila. Kung wala silang makitang violation, right there and then, kailangan ibigay na nila yung certificate and yung digital copy is to follow. So, wala nang delay.
Remulla also warned that inspectors may report defects but cannot recommend where to buy equipment, and he said formal investigations have already begun on former BFP personnel and committee members involved.
Kung sisitahin nila yung fire extinguisher, dapat sitahin nila properly, sabihin nila kung ano ang defect, pero hindi sila pwede mag-recommend kung ano ang bibilihin na fire extinguisher.
Probe comes after complaints that some BFP personnel were allegedly forcing building owners to buy overpriced equipment in exchange for fire safety inspection certificates, which are required for securing or renewing business permits.
Dateline Malacañang.
Department of the Interior and Local Government, or DLG Secretary John Vic Remulla has praised the Philippine National Police, or PNP, for its improved professionalism, citing a rise in public trust. In a palace press briefing, Remulla said reforms in procedures, guidelines, and codes of conduct have helped the PNP achieve its highest trust rating ever, reaching 80% in the latest Okta research survey.
We're gonna have to commend the PNP also kasi kung ayon sa latest survey, nung nireform natin ng lahat ng processes, ang guidelines, ang codes of behavior, the PNP now enjoys the highest trust rating ever according to Okta. I think we're almost at 80% trust rating sa mga pulis ngayon.
That isolated cases involving fugitives like Zaldico do not reflect the overall performance of the police, noting that focus crimes, index crimes, and smuggling have all declined.
Lahat ng mga major accomplishments ng PNP, makikita nyo na. And the discipline and the morale of the PNP is higher than it's ever been. Mas professional silang yan.
The continuation of reforms to sustain public confidence, highlighting efforts to strengthen accountability, internal discipline, and overall public service within the police force.
Dateline Malacañang.
Palace Press Officer Claire Castro has filed a report with the National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, over a Facebook post she says could be interpreted as a death threat. The post, made by a page called Luminous by Trixie Cruz Angeles and Ahmed Paglinawan, allegedly threatened Castro, leaving only her appendix and co-kicks untouched while criticizing her work in the Marcos administration. Castro clarified that her report is for documentation purposes and that she has not yet decided on pursuing legal action. She emphasized that while freedom of expression is protected, it should never be used to justify threats to a person's life.
Dateline Malacañang.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has ordered the fast-tracking of 4 new buildings in government hospitals across Metro Manila. Department of Public Works Secretary Vince Dizon said the facilities are located at the Philippine Children's Medical Center, Philippine Cancer Center, Philippine General Hospital, and the National Kidney and Transplant Institute. The President has guaranteed funding to expedite construction, with the 8-story PCMC building expected to open by June and the first 20-story Philippine Cancer Center set for completion next year. President Marcos has also directed that the new facilities be built to high-quality standards, ensuring patients can immediately benefit from the upgraded hospitals.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Department of Energy, or DOE, has terminated 163 renewable energy service contracts between 2024 and 2025 due to developers failing to meet their obligations. In a press conference, Energy Secretary Sharon Garin said the canceled projects, mostly solar, represent a combined potential capacity of nearly 18,000 megawatts, with Solar Philippines accounting for about 64% of the affected contracts. Garin added that civil, criminal, or administrative charges will be filed against non-compliant developers, and penalties could reach up to 24 billion pesos. The DOE plans to open the canceled contracts to new investors and will post the list online while implementing a catch-up plan to ensure renewable energy reaches 35% of the country's energy mix.
Dateline Malacañang.
More than 1.5 million children nationwide benefited from the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD's supplementary feeding program in 2025. The program, implemented with local government units, provides at least one nutritious, fortified meal daily to children enrolled in child development centers and supervised neighborhood play, helping improve their health and nutrition. Assistant Secretary Irene Dumlao said the Marcos administration has strengthened the program, increasing the cost per meal from 15 to 25 pesos to enhance nutritional value. The SFP also includes nutrition and health education for children, parents, and caregivers, and under the 2026 budget, the program is set to serve over 1.8 million children nationwide with more than 9.5 billion pesos in funding.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, is stepping up assistance for families affected by Mayon volcano's recent activity. DSWD has provided over 7.8 million pesos in aid, including more than 5,300 family food packs, ready-to-eat meals, and thousands of non-food items. A tent city has been set up in Malilipot, Albay, in coordination with the Philippine Army and Coast Guard, while mobile kitchens and water stations ensure continuous access to food and potable water for evacuees. Assistant Secretary Irene Dumlao said relief operations remain active, with teams coordinating with local governments to meet the immediate and long-term needs of displaced families, following President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s directive that no one be left behind.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, is warning the public against unauthorized individuals claiming to expedite travel clearances for minors traveling abroad. DSWD's Assistant Secretary Irene Dumlao reminded parents and guardians that the fastest and safest way to secure a clearance is by coordinating directly with the department's Central Processing Office Minors Traveling Abroad. She stressed that the process has been expedited and can now be completed online, and that using so-called fixers may put applicants' personal information at risk and cause travel delays. With summer break approaching, the DSWD advises submitting applications at least 30 days before the scheduled flight and encourages using the online system or eGov.ph app for smoother processing. For inquiries, parents may contact the CPO MTA via phone or email.
Dateline Malacañang.
Police chiefs nationwide have been ordered to strengthen internal monitoring and disciplinary systems following a shooting incident in Sibulan, Negros Oriental involving an active police officer. Acting PNP Chief Lieutenant General Jose Melencio Nartates Jr. said the suspect, Staff Sergeant Bonifacio Saicon, had a prior administrative case for neglect of duty, highlighting the need for closer oversight of personnel with past records. An immediate audit has been ordered to identify gaps in tracking and enforcing administrative sanctions, ensuring misconduct is addressed before it escalates. Saicon is accused of fatally shooting a woman in a bar and later killing 3 other police officers while in custody. Investigators are still determining the motive, noting the group was reportedly intoxicated at the time.
Dateline Malacañang.
And that concludes today's edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, I am Win Peñano. Good day.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.